Alrighty good people, welcome back to the channel and to our very first video from Computex 2026 happening right now in Taipei. And we will kick things off with our smallest mobile gaming companions, and Intel may have teased a custom version of their pretty well-received Panther Lake SoCs for handhelds at CES already, but here in Taiwan we got some proper hands-on time with the new silicon. And right away you're looking at the biggest performance upgrade ever since the first Windows-based handhelds hit the market a few years ago. And in theory, what Intel put together with their custom Intel Arc G3 and G3 Extreme sounds incredibly promising already. So it will be very interesting to see if they can back it up with improved battery life as well, and if the beefy Arc B390 can be contained in such a small form factor. Let's get into it. Before we get to our hands-on experience with the new handhelds actually running Team Blue's new SoC, how about I give you an overview of what the G3 actually is. So for now, there will be two separate SKUs of the Intel Arc G series, the flagship G3 Extreme, betting on the Arc B390 for its built-in GPU, and its smaller sibling, the G3, which gets a downgrade to the B370. Apart from that, both chips are pretty much identical, and on the CPU side, we get 14 cores divided into two performance variants, 8 E-cores and 4 low-power E-cores to handle the most basic tasks and increase battery life as much as possible. In addition to the hardware, Intel also did a ton of additional power tuning, not only to boost performance, but also to always keep an eye on efficiency, since if you cannot also game for longer, the increased performance when being out and about just feels half as good. But how does this translate to the real world? Well, according to Team Blue's marketing materials, you do get a very solid upgrade compared to Lunar Lake, which was at the heart of the original Claw 8, for example, one of the only Intel-powered handhelds of the last generation. And that one was already as fast as the AMD-powered competition, while at the same time offering a bit of a battery life advantage. The all-new variant, the MSI Claw 8EX, is once again the flagship device powered by the new silicon. And in addition to the G3 Extreme running with up to 35 to 40 watts, if I remember correctly, you get 32 gigs of RAM and a 1TB SSD. This time in the much more widely available 2280 form factor, to allow for easier upgrades once SSDs are somewhat affordable again. On the display side, everything stays the same, with the 8-inch 120Hz VRR panel, and that's fine, since it's already been more than a solid screen. What has changed though is the new chassis, and not only do we get this absolutely gorgeous purple color with textured grips, but MSI also did a ton of work to make the Claw feel much more comfortable and ergonomic, trying to mimic the overall shape of the Microsoft Xbox controller. And it worked, and while I don't think the original was uncomfortable, the new grips, in addition to a lighter chassis, are making a huge difference, and the Claw rests in your hands quite perfectly, I got to admit. But back to the SoC running it all, and I mentioned a pretty big performance increase when really pushing the G3 Extreme with all the juice it can get. But even at 17 watts, you can enjoy some solid gains, and especially in this mode, which for the MSI Claw will translate to their balanced AI engine performance preset, it will be incredibly interesting what kind of runtimes we will get out of the 80 watt-hour battery. Compared to the ROG Xbox Ally, at least according to the Intel slides, we get a similar overall performance advantage. Just be aware that this is official marketing material, and these tests have been run with upscaling. And since I don't know if the FSR and XeSS settings do use the same render resolution to begin with, take these as a rough outline of what to expect, and as always, with a grain of salt. That said, at Intel's press suite, right here in Taiwan, they had Hogwarts Legacy running on the Claw 8 with Lunar Lake, on the Xbox Ally X, and on the new Claw 8 EX running the G3 Extreme. And while the Z2 Extreme has been on par with Lunar Lake here, despite the old Intel system running at a lower wattage, the new Claw gives us a pretty impressive boost. And I checked, of course, and all three systems ran the game at medium settings, 1080p and Intel XeSS in balanced, which is actually quite impressive, especially given the AMD and G3 system are running at the exact same wattage. And then again, you can also utilize upscaling and even multi-frame generation, which is of course also a part of Intel's super mobile gaming experience. And circling back to the Hogwarts demo, while the lighting wasn't ideal, I saw no immediately noticeable difference between XeSS quality or performance, so that's pretty great. They also had a LEGO Batman showcase with multi-frame gen running, and while I usually would not recommend using MFG with a base frame rate of roughly 35 FPS, in this form factor I got to admit it was a pretty damn smooth experience. That, combined with the previously mentioned power optimizations, and there's even a so-called endurance gaming mode, and what we have seen from Panther Lake when it comes to battery life in general already, well, I think Intel might have the handheld chip to beat here for 2026. Of course, we will have to wait and see until we can test everything ourselves, but I'm carefully optimistic, and circling back to the Claw, it again seems like the 8-inch handheld can back up its pretty looks with the performance to match. And I'm very excited about battery life for this one. And please stay tuned, since we will get our hands on proper review samples within a few short weeks, so we can give you more information about this one very soon. Alright, that's the good stuff, so let's get to the not so good stuff, and that will definitely be pricing. And considering what you have to shell out for X7 or X9 powered laptops right now, you guessed it, the new MSI Claw, for example, will definitely be more expensive than its predecessor, and probably even considerably more so. I mean, sure, this is basically a mini PC, which can do all sorts of things, but still, you are definitely venturing into budget or even mid-range level gaming laptop territory here. And while I do not have an exact price tag, I'll do my best to get that for you and add it to the description or a pinned comment as soon as I know more. But that's already it for today, folks. Please let me know what you think so far about the ARC G3 Silicon and the MSI Claw 8EX. And definitely stay tuned, since I'm doing my very best to get some hands-on time with other handhelds running the same chip right here in Taipei at Computex 2026. Thanks for watching, good people. Please leave a like and sub on your way out. My name is Alex. You have been absolutely fantastic as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.